You know, some books are popular for a season, maybe even for a generation, but every once in a while, a book comes along that seems to just defy time. It becomes immortal. So how do you even begin to measure the impact of a text that was written almost 1,000 years ago? Well, luckily for us, in the 21st century, we can actually start with a single, really powerful number.
1,164. According to the Al-Ruq Al-Manshur database, which is this incredible digital archive of Islamic heritage, that's the number of cataloged entries all tied to just one book. We're talking manuscripts, commentaries, summaries, modern print editions. I mean, it's a whole universe of scholarship spinning around a single text.
That number is just staggering when you think about it. So what on earth is this book? And how did it create such an incredible centuries-long ripple effect? Well, today we're going to put on our digital archaeologist hats and uncover the story behind this absolutely monumental work.
All right, here's our plan. We'll start with that digital footprint. Then I'll introduce you to the book and its author. We'll break down its brilliant structure, marvel at the sheer artistry of the physical copies, explore the universe of scholarship it sparked, and finally, we'll try to answer the big question, why is this book endured?
Okay, first things first, let's circle back to that number. Because, it's one thing to say a book is important. It's a whole other thing to see the hard data that proves it.
And it's the breakdown where things get really wild. Just look at this, 991 known manuscript copies. That alone is mind-blowing. But then you tack on 53 different commentaries, 15 summaries, and dozens of other related works. This isn't just a book. It's the sun at the center of an entire intellectual solar system that's been spinning for centuries.
So what is this masterpiece at the heart of all this data? Let's do the formal introduction.
The book's full title is Al-Shifa bi-Ta'rif Huquq al-Mustafa, which you can translate as The Healing by the Definition of the Rights of the Chosen One. It was written by a celebrated scholar from Andalusia, Qadi Ayyad, who passed away way back in the year 544 of the Islamic calendar. That's 1149 for us.
And his goal, wow, was it ambitious? Qadi Ayyad basically set out to write the single most comprehensive work on the status of the Prophet Muhammad, his character, his spiritual rank, and all the rights and duties that believers owe to him. It was a monumental undertaking, designed to be both completely thorough and deeply, deeply moving. And the way he built his argument is it's a masterclass in clear, logical thinking. He constructed the entire book on 4 foundational pillars. What made this 4-part structure so powerful was how it progresses. He starts at the highest possible level, the divine, showing how God himself praised the prophet. Then he brings it down to our level, to humanity detailing our duties. From there, he wades into some really complex theology about the prophet's nature, both infallible and human. And finally, he grounds it all in the real world with actual legal rulings. It's just a beautiful, airtight case.
And get this, the author himself said that the third part, the one that tackles those tricky ideas of infallibility and human qualities, was the real heart of the whole thing. He literally called it the secret of the book and the core of its fruit. This is where he gets into the most profound questions about prophecy itself.
But the book's legacy isn't just about ideas. For hundreds of years, the physical act of just copying Al-Shifa was considered an act of devotion. And the results? Well, they're some of the most beautiful manuscripts ever made.
I mean, just look at this. The detail in the geometric patterns, the sheer amount of gold leaf, that perfect flowing calligraphy. This isn't just a book, it's a treasure. Every single detail is designed to show honor to the words inside.
Here's another one, a frontispiece. This level of jaw-dropping artistry tells you everything you need to know about the reverence people had for this text. The scribes and the artists who made this weren't just transcribing words. They were pouring their faith and their skill onto the page, almost like a prayer in ink and gold.
And this comparison here really tells a story. On the left, you've got that stunning, ornate opening we just saw. On the right, a more standard page of text. It's still elegant and clear, but much more functional. It shows there was a deliberate hierarchy of design. The scribes saved the most lavish, expensive decoration for the very beginning, signaling to you that you are about to enter a very important space.
And if you look closely here, you can see this was a living, breathing document. Notice how clear the script is, with all the marks to help you read it out loud. And you see those notes scribbled in the margins? That's generations of scholars and students studying this exact copy, adding their own thoughts. It was a masterpiece of art for sure, but it was also a tool for serious learning.
And that scholarly use brings us right back to that intellectual ecosystem we were talking about. This book didn't just sit on a shelf, it created a whole universe of new scholarship around it.
I mean, you had scholars who dedicated their entire lives to engaging with al-Shifa. They wrote enormous commentaries like Nasim al-Riyad to explain every little detail. Others, like the famous al-Suyuti, meticulously checked all the prophetic traditions cited in it. People wrote summaries to make it easier to study, and of course, it was translated into Turkish, Persian, and many other languages.
So, ultimately, it was this constant, centuries-long conversation, this web of commentaries, studies, and translations that cemented al-Shifa as an absolute pillar of Islamic education. It's how the book's ideas were kept alive, debated, and spread all across the world.
Which brings us to our final big question. After looking at the data, the structure, the art, and all the scholarship, why this book? Why does it endure? Well, a famous 17th century scholar named Haji Khalifa put it pretty simply. He called it a book of great benefit, the like of which has not been authored in Islam. He was basically saying, this one is in a class all by itself.
But I think the real secret sauce is its dual nature. On one hand, it's a work of deep, profound reverence. It speaks directly to the heart, to that spiritual and emotional connection. But at the exact same time, it's a work of incredible scholarly rigor. It speaks to the mind, with its airtight logic and evidence. It manages to satisfy both the soul and the intellect.
Another scholar captured this perfectly. He said it was a book that, if written in gold or weighed against jewels, would be little for it. And when you look back at those stunning manuscripts, you can see that for centuries, people took that sentiment very, very literally.
In the end, maybe the story of al-Shifa teaches us that for a text to become truly immortal, it needs more than just brilliant ideas. It needs to inspire centuries of conversation, centuries of devotion, and even breathtaking art. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What gives any text that kind of power to last forever?